Call the meeting to order, we'll start with the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call to order, roll call, starting on the right.
Councilperson Josh Arn.
Councilperson Brett Byer.
Mayor Jimmy John King.
Councilperson Craig Anderson.
Councilperson Jeremiah Olson.
Looking for approval of tonight's agenda. Any things from over there?
Move to approve.
Motion to approve, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that carries. Approval of council meeting minutes of the regular meeting of January 25th, 2022. You approves in a second, if we can have a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second that.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that carries. Takes on the finance and budget. You have the accounts payable with the additional listing there. Any questions? Directing the finance director, Carla. Motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
Questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That'll take us to motions of general business. First item tonight under motions of general business is to finalize the vote for honest liquor on the outside unit. At the last meeting, council made the motion to approve the 6-month refrigeration unit, but before the vote could be taken, Mr. Gary Johnson asked to speak. After the exchange, the vote did not take place. The motion was made by Byer and seconded by Arndt to approve the temporary 6-month approval. Council action requested would be to finalize the vote, so I'll ask all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. So that takes us to the next item, is an off-sale liquor license for Ambassador Liquor. The city has received an application from Mr. Gary Johnson, Ambassador Liquor, for an off-sale license at 306 Main Street South. The accompanying memo states that he would like approval for May 1st, 2022. Council action requested would be approval of the off-sale liquor license for Mr. Gary Johnson, Ambassador Liquor, subject to proper application. I'll either entertain a motion of some kind or discussion.
Everything obviously came through all right, right?
So far, he hasn't turned in any insurance and that kind of stuff, so it'll be subject to proper application.
And as he mentioned in the last meeting, just for clarification, because his memo does point out something about proximity of, there's nothing that we're guided by on that, right? Okay.
So I'll entertain some kind of a motion.
I'll make a motion for approval.
Do we have a second?
I'll second. Second.
Jeremiah snuck in there, did you, Brent? It was close.
Do I have to add in there that it's subject to all the passing of everything, or is that just part of it, right?
We have a motion and a second. If no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. 2022 CIP project. The next step in the capital improvement will be approving plans and specs and ordering advertisement of bids. So the next step in the capital improvement project is to approve the plans and the specifications as prepared by SEH for the 2022 CIP street and utilities improvement and to order advertisement for bids. We are asking council to approve the plans and specifications and order staff to advertise for bids. We'll be opening bids on March 8th, 2022 at 10 a.m. at City Hall. The plans are based upon the decisions previously made by the council, include full reconstruction of sanitary sewer mains and services, water mains and services, storm sewer system, as well as an addition of a subdrain and four sub pump services for 6th Street Southeast to 8th Street Southeast. The typical section for 5th Avenue Southeast includes a 36 roadway section with a 6-foot boulevard and a 5-foot sidewalk on both sides within a 66-foot roadway section. The project will continue with installation of sidewalk and subdrain from 8th Street Southeast to just south of the intersection of 5th Avenue and 9th Street Southeast, completing the connection to existing sidewalks in the area. The alleyway east of City Hall is proposed to replace the water main and service connections, add curb and gutter along the east side of the parking area, sidewalk and trail connection, and a picnic landing area. The attachment bid advertisement is proposing a bid letting of March 8th, 2022. This allows us to meet the advertising requirements for bidding. We have included wording in the specifications to allow the council to award or reject all bids at any of the meetings in March or April. Jenna, do you have anything to add?
We did have a open house last week with the property owners and went through the plans with them. There was some feedback still against and for sidewalks. Obviously, we go back and forth on that. I did work with the property owner who I would say has the house closest to where the sidewalks are going to be. It's less than 10 feet away. Worked with them. We will be installing some shrubs or a hedge, and they're happy. They're actually very excited to be able to use the sidewalk to connect to the park now without having to go on the street. So with that being the worst case scenario out there and them happy, I took that as good news. But there are still some against. With that, plans are looking good and ready to go. We would advertise starting next Tuesday and then bring bids in on the 8th. We are still proposing to do this as not low bid, but as best value. So we will have a time period where the Public Works Committee will review the bids and, the packets from the contractors and evaluate them in that regard. So it would be the end of March or April before we would accept bids.
All right. Any questions for Jenna or anyone on the staff? I have to agree, it was a good open house. We had some good questions, we had some good conversations. One fellow personally asked for Brent, but he's not ready. So if there's no other discussion or questions, can we do this all in one motion? Can we roll the bid, advertise everything all in one? Cheryl?
What's that?
Can it all be just one motion?
Yes.
All right, the council acts requested to approve resolution approving plans and specifications and order advertisement of bids for the 2022 street utility improvement project on 5th Avenue Southeast from 6th Street Southeast to 9th Street Southeast and the alleyway east of City Hall. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to do everything that you said.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That will carry. That'll take us to the next item tonight, which is purchase of a mower. It's in the capital equipment plan for a 52-inch stand-on mower. As per approved for the 2022 capital equipment plan and the 2022 budget, the 2017 Skag stand-on mower is scheduled for replacement. The cost of the replacement of the stand-on mower has been estimated at $9,013. This quote is the same as the state contract pricing on Sourcewell. The replacement was budgeted for at $5,500. With the sale of the old one on public surplus at an estimated $3,500, we're expecting to be right on budget. So the council action requested would be to approve or deny the purchase of the 52-inch skag stand-on mower. Now, any questions for Public Works Director Hale?
What do you use the stand-on skag mower for?
Uses in and around the tight stuff. It's the smaller one that's more versatile as far as trimming. And talking with the guys, we question whether we want to do that. All the guys that use it really like the stand on for trimming around stuff, so. We've rigged a sprayer up on it too, so we can use it for the grounds, like City Hall and stuff like that for treating and fertilizing and spraying and stuff like that with it.
It is a local purchase, so if no other questions, we would like either to approve or deny the purchase of the mower.
I'll make that motion to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That will carry. Next item is Public Works. Be the purchase of a pickup truck. As per the approved 2021 capital equipment plan and the 2021 budget, this pickup was scheduled for replacement. Due to availability issues, we pushed this purchase to 2022. The cost of replacement of the 2006 4x2 truck has been estimated at, we have a bid from House Chevrolet for a 2021 crew cab at $42,000 plus tax. We have Adamson's 2022 Ram crew cab for $50,590, including tax and license. And Rochester Ford, a 2022 Ford XLT crew cab at $52,435 plus tax and licensing. We will be selling the other truck on public surplus once after the summer help is gone. We are estimating selling price of $2,000. Due to the unavailability of vehicles, fleet discounts are not available with the state bidding system. Therefore, we solicited best pricing bids from several dealerships. We are recommending the low bid from House Chevrolet. Now, the council action requested will be to approve or deny the purchase of a 2021 Chevy Silverado crew cab. Questions for Sean?
Sean, I had a question. If fleet discounts are available, are they about half the price, or how does that work again?
The fleet, House Chevrolet did give us the fleet discount.
So that's fleet price, that's
And
pretty
that
much
knocked
fleet price.
$9,600 off the price of the truck.
Okay,
The others won't, and because of the availability issue, the components for the trucks, they're putting them all into the crew cabs, because that's their best-selling trucks. So they're putting in what they can pump out. So they're not, we can't get regular cab pickups. The 2023s, 2022s are already gone. We can bid in May on the 2023s, but they all said they think they're doing away with the state contract on them because of the availability problems. So they won't even have, everyone I talk to, the other guys, it's 100% retail, there's no budging because the demand for the trucks is there and they won't do it.
okay.
So,
I just didn't know how that state bid would work. I thought maybe they're a little bit cheaper, but.
well, they normally are, and it's the 600 off of that contract gets you the fleet price. But again, we're not able to get
Yeah.
regular cab pickups, and every dealership I talked to was the same scenario, whether it was Ford, Dodge, or Chevy, and they all said it's gonna be 3 to 5 years, if this turns around right now, before that gets straightened out. So we're looking at a period of time here that we may be stuck with it the way it is.
Okay.
And the 2021 that you're,
This one is a 2021.
It's brand new.
It's one they have brand new.
Two, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
any other questions or discussion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve the purchase of 2021 Chevy Silverado crew cab. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That will also carry. The next item under is investment policy update. The Finance Committee has reviewed and is recommending approval for the updated investment policy for the city. The old policy was implemented in 2004. There are no changes to what is acceptable for the city to invest in, just updated verbiage and clarifications to the policy. This follows the example that was provided by the League of Minnesota Cities. All the wording and verbiage is below, and I'm sure you've all read through it. So, council action requested, if you're in agreement, is to approve or deny the updated investment policy. Questions? My questions have been answered before, so. If you have none, we'd look for a motion.
Move to approve.
A motion to approve, do we have a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. That takes us right out of motions and general business, puts us mayor, staff, and consultant reports. Mayor's report tonight. City of Stewartville would like to send their sympathies to the families of Margaret Schaffner, Mike Danielson, and Janet Kruger. Don't forget the American Legion's got their steak and shrimp dinner February 12th, 5 to 7. Take your sweetheart out. You got some good deals out there. 18th Annual Food for Kids, sponsored by the Kiwanis, will be held on April 2nd. After a 2-year layoff due to COVID, they're coming back with it. If you're unable to volunteer, please consider financial donation, or you may round up a few dollars at Fairway every time you shop there, from January 31st through February 12th. Now, the Boy Scouts Chili Feed will be March 6th at the Sportsman's Club. And don't forget, Toast and Taste will be here before you know it. That's set for March 25th. Tickets are now available online or by a foundation member. And last is happy birthday to Lexi.
Thank you.
Yeah, happy birthday. Thank you for all you do for us too, Lexi. That's all I've got. City Administrator's report.
Main reports in your packet. The only thing I'm gonna highlight is on the People's Energy meeting. We did have that on Monday. 3 of the commissioners came down, and the CEO and our economic development contact, or the key accounts contact, to say that it is in their planning to get the substations to all match up so that a better backfeed can work when there is a power outage and minimize either outage time or eliminate outage time. One of the things we did find out was all the reports seemed to indicate there was just one section of downed lines out south east of town. There was actually lines down south of town, and it was a pretty rare occurrence that both were down, thus causing the 2 ways they could feed from that end through ITC, the transmission folks, to get here. And so that was one of the things that caused it. We are gonna keep meeting with them, and of course support from the governing bodies in this area, especially you all, will be essential to try to get People's Energy to keep moving that up. Right now they see it as about a 5-year program to get that fully replaced. Part of it on these supply issues of transformers and the substations, but and then of course they deal with outages in the other communities who think their areas are just as important. So we'll keep working with them to get that support and hopefully moved in. And obviously it would be a program that the provider, People's Energy, would pay for. Indirectly, it's all of us, but it didn't sound like there'd be any special requirements for us as a city from a financial end of it. So we'll keep you posted. And then before, it wasn't included, I don't believe, in the mayor's report, but as of this past February 2nd, our esteemed mayor became the elder statesman of Stewartville with a birthday himself. So,
I thought you liked your job.
our respected elder statesman.
Bill, I had a question on one thing. On the amphitheater bathroom down at Barricade Park, what's the timeline for that? Is that something that's gonna fast track or not?
Well, we can, but this $150,000 roughly budget, depending on what these supply things come in, there's a chance it could be doubled depending on the size. So the 2 things we're gonna have to talk about workshop wise or down the road is do we hold off one more year and the allocations you gave for it, we'll just have to re-up next year and build it then? Or we've already started talking to Carla, is there a way that we could do some kind of inter-fund borrow or a bank borrow, and then we'll just pay half of it up front and potentially the other half pay ourselves back. So we're meeting with park board representatives and chamber representatives, and staff is involved. So we'll kind of keep you posted. We're trying to work on the layout and the floor plan of it. Right now, there seems to be a unanimous feeling to put it at the top of the amphitheater bowl and have the look kind of match the amphitheater look for it. So Sean's been working out the utility end of things, and then the committee is working on the layout and the look of it, and then we'll have to keep working with you on what those final costs came in. We had a local contractor give us updated construction costs for facility type items. And so that's where it looks like there could be a doubling of what we thought was a potential budget, so.
Okay.
Any other questions for the administrator? Thank you, Bill. Finance Director Carla.
Just business as usual, still working on stuff, getting things finalized for the auditors. We do have the work comp auditor coming on next Tuesday to go through things with me.
Any questions for Carla? All right, thank you. Public Works Director Sean.
Reports in there, just a lot of cutting trees. And as the weather permits, we continue doing that, and we'll do it for a while. Josh commented earlier that it's giving a unique look up there, but.
Any questions for Sean? Otherwise, thanks, you're doing great. City Engineer, Jenna, you got anything else?
No report.
All right. No library director tonight, we have a fire chief. You have a report, Vance?
I do. So for January, we had 68 runs, 45 medicals, 13 lift assist. It's getting to be a little bit more of our job description, helping our elderly up. A few of these we're working with law enforcement on maybe some care issues. So kind of working through public health with those, some of those concerns where someone may need some additional help than just us going and picking them up. 7 fire alarms, 1 carbon monoxide, 1 accident with injuries. And then I did let Bill know about it, but we did go to a structure fire in Rochester. We actually covered a Rochester fire station for about 4 hours. One night when the UPS fire was going on, they had most of their units over there. So Stewartville covered basically station 1, and then Byron covered over on the west side of town for Rochester for about 4 hours. Stewartville ran 2 runs. I ran a medical and a fire alarm, so they had some fun driving through Rochester Code 3, so kind of made their night with that. We are adding 5 staff. They'll be starting in April. We did interviews. All the staff are coming with certification, so they're already EMT, firefighter 1 and 2. Some of them, their certs have lapsed, but they're in close enough proximity that we can work with the state to get them continuing education, get them back up. So we're going to be able to bring them on board relatively easily at relatively low cost. I think I talked to you guys in December about doing this, knowing that we've got probably about 5 or 6 people that can go in the next couple of years, just getting some people acclimated. Even with 5 people, that only put us, I think, 2 people over our authorized limit, so we're just gonna be a little bit heavy for a little while. We did have one of our brand new members, he was a cadet, resign from the department. Just with his lifestyle, things are going on right now, it just doesn't fit for him to be able to meet the minimum qualifications for meetings and stuff like that. So the kid's 18 years old, they did a phenomenal job coming in, talking to the board just like an adult would. So kind of explaining the situation, why you want to do it. Was very emotional about it, but because of the way he left, we take him out in a heartbeat. So if the kid ever want to come back, we try to take him on as soon as we could. Training for January and December. January is kind of our typical stuff. We went through all our OSHA mandated annual training. We're required twice a year to go through radio training for the state radio system. I think some people may have seen it on Facebook, but we did a snowmobile mock accident out to the west of the high school. So basically we didn't tell staff what it was. We just basically had them show up and then just respond as they would normally. how we get people out of the Stewartville Groove Trail back to a place where we do it. So I think we freaked out some people in the high school because people were leaving when we had trucks with lights on and simulating a landing zone for Mail 1, stuff like that. This month is ropes and knots, so a lot of it is working with an aerial truck on how to pick a person off a roof, stokes baskets, those type of things. And I think I've talked about this before, but we have an online training solution called Target Solutions. So what we're doing with that is every month everybody in the department is assigned a assignment on there. It takes about an hour and a half to do it. You do that at home on your own leisure time. But that assignment is done the month before we do the hands-on stuff. So what we're trying to do is limit our time in the classroom, letting them learn that type of stuff online, that classroom environment online. So when we're doing that, we're maximizing our hands-on time with staff at the training. So you'll see us out doing a lot more hands-on stuff than we've done in the past with that. So it seems to be, so far we've had 2 months of it, we're having really good feedback from staff on it. So that seems like it's going well. Next thing we're doing is we're really focusing on officer training. So in January and February, we went through our command board, which is, for lack of better terms, a cheat sheet for how to run an incident, make sure you're not missing stuff, keeping track of accountability for everybody on the fire scene. And then in February, we did a tabletop scenarios where we run all the lieutenants through. Here's a picture of a fire. Let's walk through how you do this. So it's really getting our junior officers more involved with the commanding of an incident, trying to get their skills up so that, when Steve Denny, Steve Wolf, and myself are gone, these junior officers can take over a scene relatively easily, and they got the confidence to be able to do it. Carla and I had a meeting with CETA on grants. There's some different grants that we've been looking at. Carla and I have been talking about. I've been talking about it with Joya also. I think we found a way that we may spend a little bit of money to have CETA help us out with these grants, but I think we'll be able to really develop this and probably get more than our money back that we're spending in developing grants for that. So I think we're going to start moving forward with that a little bit. I've got a relatively easy grant that came forward earlier this week that I'm going to talk to Carla and CETA about, see if we can't get in for that real quick. The last thing we did, we got the engine is ordered, so everything in January was done. So that's in process. They actually moved it to a fast track, which doesn't mean it's really fast, but instead of being 16 months, they're going to try to knock it out in 12 to 14. So it's more of a standard engine. There's not a lot of customization to it, so it's going to be relatively easy for them to build it. So they're kind of moving it ahead of the line a little bit. So we'll see what that actually means when it gets there. So that's all I got, unless you have questions.
Sounds good. Any questions for the chief? Been a busy couple months, man.
Yeah, it's getting crazy.
No pool director tonight, so I'll take us to committee and commission board reports. Let's see. Chamber of Commerce, you've got the newsletter in there. A lot of things going on with the chamber if you want to read through that. Al, you got anything to add for any chamber stuff? EDA HRA.
Meeting next week, and you were probably at the home show, was that this last weekend?
We had a meet, yeah. We were at the Rochester Home Show again. It was, I do have to say it was quite a disappointment this year, the turnout for the, I talked to John Eischen about it during, and he said the minute that Mayor Norton announced the mask mandate, they lost $10,000. That made people pull out. They said they won't come. So that hurt.
It's hard to figure out.
Yep, booth. So they were very, very poor. Yeah, but we had a fair number stop at the booth and visit again and picked up some of the information, some of Les's information. There was some real inquisitive people, wasn't there, Lexi?
Yeah.
All right, especially the Amish guys, they were pretty. They were good. Finance,
Nothing.
library,
Meeting next week.
park board,
Nothing this month.
personnel,
Nothing.
planning and zoning.
We didn't have anything this month, anything next month, no?
Public safety.
Any update on all the break-ins? Have you guys heard since they've been breaking in every weekend?
Yeah.
Are they breaking in, or are they just opening the unlocked doors?
Doesn't matter.
We need to give the sheriff.
It's every weekend.
Talk to him.
What's the schedule to do patrol? I mean, do we know what, like,
Pretty
the
much
hours that they
two
work?
deputies, all around, or
24/7.
most of the coverage.
Well, isn't it, their power shift ones are working like 10 to 10 or noon to midnight, I think?
Yes.
And Jason said he'll mostly be that midnight to midnight, or, noon to midnight or 2 to 2. And so I'm still hopeful he can come and make some of our meetings so you can get updates. Cause he's still supposed to help a lot of days with the normal, cops relationship, so.
Well, if the years turn in, I mean, to begin with, there's literally break-ins every weekend.
Well, I think like Craig said, the initial word we got from, Jason was leaving vehicles open, and I'm not saying that to defend anyone, but.
Well, I think if there's kids out at 2 in the morning,
Yeah.
someone should see them, or the cops should be out and about, they should be able to see who's walking the streets, especially in the wintertime.
You do have the ability as a council member to talk to the sheriff directly and ask him these questions.
Well, you might have to come to a meeting and answer, I mean, people are wondering what's going on. It's worse now that we have more coverage.
Did they find your backpack?
No. Neither did they find anyone else's that got hit the last month.
That I don't know, I haven't spoken with Sheriff Jorgensen for a while. Public Works? Ready?
No report tonight.
Roll call?
That, they're just meeting again for the first time in about 3 months. At the last Wednesday of February, so that'll be forthcoming. And we'll check with Joy on ready, because the minutes should be there, it's just a matter of getting them in here, so.
Transit Advisory Committee.
No report.
Nothing on our communications. Open mic.
I'll move to adjourn.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?